Hello, welcome to Smitty's. Today we are working on our chainsaw porting class again. This will be our next installment in the series. So don't forget, if this is the first time you're seeing this, there's actually a playlist for this. I will have the playlist down in the description. Just go down there, click on that playlist, and you can start from the beginning and watch the whole process. All right, we're doing a Homelite Super XL Auto. It's cheap, it's easy to find, so everybody can practice before they can, before they get into their everyday, more expensive saws. It's best to practice with the cheap ones before we get into the modern saws. So that's why I chose the Homelite Super XL Auto. They're cheap, they're easy to find, and fun to use. So don't forget, go down the description and get that playlist and watch the whole series from start to finish. Alrighty, thanks. Today we are going to focus on removing the clutch. We need to pay close attention to the position of the piston inside the cylinder. First thing we need to figure out is which way the piston is moving as we try to unscrew the nut. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. We need to make sure the piston is positioned right at the top of the exhaust port, and then push rope down through the spark plug hole. We put the rope in place to prevent the engine from rotating as we try to loosen the nut. See how the piston does not wish to move? The rope is stopping it. Now we can easily remove the nut. Now we want to take this opportunity to inspect our bearing. If we see any damage, we will need to replace it. Now we need to remove the clutch. The clutch is reverse threaded, so right will cause it to loosen. Now as we rotate the clutch, you notice the piston will come down and back up. We need to make sure the rope does not pop out through the exhaust hole when we do this. It will cause damage. Now, you see how I placed an Allen key inside that hole? We're going to pry on it, and I'm going to show you that this is not an effective method to remove the clutch. All we are doing is bending the Allen key. Now we will make another attempt, but this time we will use a screw instead. And again, we will do nothing more than bend the screw. The most effective way I have found to do this is to insert a screw or Allen key or anything into two of the holes, and to use two of the holes to pry against. Anytime I do this, I have greater chances of removal. It seems to work out in my favor a lot easier. These clutches can be on there really tight. As the saw is cutting, it will continuously try to tighten the clutch. So they can be on there very tight. I do not recommend using a hammer to beat on it because you can easily break the clutch. At this time, we will start to remove the clutch, and it is time to give the clutch an inspection. As you see on this side, the clutch is worn evenly, but on the other side, it is not. This clutch is showing signs of wear. At this point, we will see the oil pump, but we are not going to remove it just yet. We're going to work at removing the flywheel. We need to keep the rope inside the cylinder in order to remove the flywheel. We're going to start off by removing the screen. Now there are different methods for removing the flywheel. They do make a tool for this purpose. I do not own the tool, so I will show you my method. In order to remove the flywheel, we need to push these starter pawls back so we can fit our socket in to the nut. This washer is damaged. I will need to replace it before I reassemble. As you can see, the washer is severely deformed. I will not be able to reuse it. Now at this point, we're ready to remove the rope. Now this is whenever we need to prepare for the actual flywheel removal. They do make a tool for doing this project. I do not own the tool, so I'm going to show you my method. But the proper tool would connect between the crankshaft and the two starter pawl bolts. It's just a plate that goes between the three of them, and you tighten the center bolt up and it causes the flywheel to pop off. It's a very simple little contraption that you could easily make yourself at home. I'm going to use a standard jaw style puller commonly used for removing pulleys. The most important thing is to remember that the keyway is pointed in a straight line away from the side of the jaw puller that I'm going to use. I'm only going to use one side of it. I'm going to connect it underneath the flywheel there beside the coil. Then I'll run the main bolt down onto the crankshaft. The far side, I won't even use it at all. But I got to make sure everything is in a perfect straight line. The key cannot be on the inside or this method will not work at all. As I have it connected like this, it is very simple to remove. All it takes is a few smacks with a hammer and it will pop right off. I rarely have to make more than 3 hits. As you see, I'm going to hit it right up there at the top, straight over to the side. Rarely takes me more than 3 hits. And here I got it on 2. At this point, I can easily just pull the flywheel right off. I want to point out at this time here, as you can see, this saw has been cleaned, but the area behind the flywheel almost never gets cleaned out, because whatever method you use, it doesn't matter if you're using water or air, it just cannot get behind the flywheel. Now this area, once it plugs up, it will trap the heat from the engine and allow it to transfer straight into the gas, causing your gas to boil. It is very important to keep this area clean at all times. This is very important for the longevity of your saw. Another thing you want to pay attention to here is the key is still in place. So either remove it or tape it or something. Do not allow that to get lost or damaged. All right, that'll be it for today. We'll do another video on the saw disassembly, and then we'll get the timing wheel hooked up and start pulling some numbers and go over the actual porting process. That's whenever you're going to want to make sure you have your notepad ready. It's time to use the most powerful tool in your toolbox, the one sitting between your ears. Alrighty, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.